William Arlotti pour le Fashion Post avec Brian Keaney. Nous sommes à Turku et nous sommes en Finlande. And I will continue, of course, my interview in English. Your brand, your label name is Tonfisk. What does it mean?
Tonfisk means tuna in Swedish.
In Swedish.
In Swedish.
Where are you coming from?
I'm Irish myself, but I've been here in Finland for 20 years, so it's a Finnish design brand.
How and why you arrive in Turku?
I came to Finland 20 years ago as an exchange student and fell in love with the country and decided to come back for master's studies. My final work when I graduated was the warm tea and coffee series that we have in production. And then we originally had the company in Helsinki, but then about 8 years ago we moved to Turku.
So your expertise is design.
Design, yes.
To help people to feel more comfortable with a cup of coffee, with the knife. What is your vision and your definition of the good design, the good balance and the good product?
Well, first of all, I think it has to work properly. It's got to fulfill all its functions that it has, but also you want to bring something new to the product, something different, something to make it stand out in the marketplace. So we always, with our products, try to combine the two, that we have something that's interesting visually, but also is very functional.
I know that each designer have an obsession. What is your obsession?
Obsession?
Yes.
Football, maybe. I think I'm very pragmatic with my work. And so I always trying to make it that there's a reason that I'm doing it, that there's a reason that I'm doing a product like the way it is. And I think it's this, I don't want to say functionality always, but there's a reason why the product wants to exist rather than just to fill some space.
Do you use specific fabrics, material to create your signature?
Well, our main material is porcelain because we're a ceramic company. So often it's teacups, plates, teapots. This is what we're making. But often we're combining materials. So mostly we have, for example, wood and porcelain combined. But we can also combine it with glass or other materials as well, depending on how it fits the functionality and the design. Yeah.
Moreover, in your creation, there is a crossover between different universe, like the shoes, like fashion. Could you tell me more about this?
Well,
accessories?
This not quite our product, in fact, this one, but we're always trying to combine maybe just different kind of things that you see in life, put them together to create something interesting. So here we have our shop here as well, and we have the next shop beside it, which also has some kind of nice pieces in it. For example, was that piece, the cake handle or the cake cutter? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
In French, we said it's like a clin d'œil to fashion. You know?
Yeah.
So, moreover, what is really interesting is that you want to create like a band, like a group with an event.
Yes.
And this event is Turku Design Now.
Yes, we're in Turku. There's a lot of small design companies over the years, particularly in the last, let's say, 10 years have appeared. And maybe about 7 years ago, a fair invited a group of companies from Turku to exhibit there. So one of our colleagues, Danny, called around to several companies, and we came along in there. And we did this fair as a kind of 7-8 companies. And then we decided, well, why don't we do another fair? And then why don't we organize a sales happening? And so it kind of grew from there. And year after year, between about 5 to 10 companies here in Turku we have that cooperate on doing sales events and marketing and this stuff. So in the last couple of years, maybe together we've generated turnover of maybe 200,000 to 300,000 euros, which wouldn't have been possible for each of us to do separately. So we put all our money together, and then we can hire people to sell our product in, for example, shopping centres or at events like jazz festivals, or we organise bigger sales happenings for people to come.
It's like a mix and match with different universe, music, art,
there can be all kinds of different things, yeah, that we kind of put together. And then we can combine all the different companies. So sometimes we have children's clothes, sometimes we have the ceramics, sometimes we have all fashion, so all kind of things. So it's a more interesting event and gets more people to come than if just one of us try to organize an event.
I have a last question.
Sure.
It's more about ceramic.
Sure.
Because it's like a revelation, it's like a transformation. What does it mean for you, in fact, ceramic, when you work on ceramic?
Well, it's a very challenging material. It shrinks during the firing, it changes color, it can warp. And so working with it, you really have to kind of think the whole process through about what's going to work and what shapes are going to hold their form or how they're going to change in the fire. And so it's a very, sometimes a very frustrating material to work with. You can have a great idea and it looks good, and then you fire it and it looks awful. And then other times, then when it succeeds, then you get something really, really beautiful comes out in the end. Yeah.
Creation is like a surprise. It's the
sometimes
magic.
yeah. And then you're always hoping that each firing is going to work. Yeah. So.
Okay. Where could we buy your product? In Europe?
Yeah.
Where?
We export to about 25 countries. So in Europe, we have France, England, Ireland, Germany. The first stop would be our own web shop. There you can also find a list of our retailers in local countries. So in France, for example, we have maybe 5 to 10 retailers around France, but also many other countries as well.
Okay, and we can be connected. Could you give me the address of the shop?
It will be www.tonfisk-design.fi.
We will keep the address. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
It was a pleasure to meet you
Thank you.
and to discover your talented creation. Thank you so much.
Thank
C'était
you.
William Arlotti pour le Fashion Post.